whether you realize it or not. You know, there's some lessons in life that you only realize how valuable it is when you're at a certain level. Like, for example, you may have never sat down at a place setting for a meal and seen 3 forks. You know what I'm saying? You probably only see 1 fork, but one day maybe you'll sit down somewhere and you're among upper class people and there's 3 forks and 3 spoons and you're kind of like, oh goodness. You'd be better to know why those utensils are there before you get there. Huh? You'd be much better off. Oh, got that manandwomanbrand.com drip. This is actually a MDB label, as you can see. I wear this one for the color. You heard me, the color, just, you know what I'm saying? Well, my skin color, just set it off. Just set it off. You did. You got to match for your color, man. Like, for example, I love a brown suit, but I'm brown. So I'm not going to wear a brown suit. I'm brown. You heard me? Looks weird. But, you know, if you're, say, a white guy, you wear a brown suit. Oh, man, it's strong. Strong. Looks great. Highly recommend it. You know, you gotta do things that are appropriate for you. That's good life advice. Do what works for you, right? Don't get general advice. Get advice that's good for you. And when you do that, it's like showing your self-respect. It's acknowledging the self, that you exist as a unique being. Shout out to Gabriel. He writes, what are some cities you would recommend to move if interested in the bleeding edge of tech and AI? Good question. Well, there's 2 considerations. There's the sophistication of the technologists. Then there's the availability of funding. So if you want to look at the sophistication of the technologists, you might consider, of course, Silicon Valley as a go-to. But what I'd really be looking at is Austin, Texas. You can consider Silicon Beach, which is the Santa Monica area. But I really like Austin, Texas as an emerging tech hub. There's a lot of capital going in there. And also, if you want to consider access to capital, then you're going to want to look at the Middle East, United Arab Emirates. A lot of MENA countries are, putting a lot of money out there. And frankly, the Gulf states, they're not very sophisticated. So if you have a decent technology, they might fund you. And there's certain looks, if you will, that they like to fund more than other looks. So if you fit the description, you're gonna be in line for some easy money, my boy. But the key with tech is not your technical ability, it's the revenue model. That's the hardest thing in the tech business. I know, I've been successful in the tech business. There's levels to things, right? I'm no Mark Zuckerberg, but I've done all right for myself. And I've done well enough that I can teach on it. I have a course that I rarely bring up. I put a lot of work into it, and I rarely bring it up because I don't recommend it for everyone. I just recommend it for the people who want to be multi-millionaires. When I say multi, I'm talking about tens of millions on the low side, billions on the high side, because there really is no limit on the high side. The course is called How to Create and Monetize Your Own App, and I promise to add more lessons to it, but it's already a phenomenal course because it teaches you how to create a revenue model, which is to say how to make money in the software business, which is very hard to do because most software is free, right? Here's a challenge. Everybody right now, you don't have to do this, just do it in your head. Ask yourself, how many apps on your phone do you have? Maybe you got 60 apps. How many do you pay for? Most of you, 0, 1, maybe 2 at most. So you're in a business where the product is free. So how are you gonna make money? If you say advertising, you're dumb because you're not gonna have enough users to advertise, right? So you need a good revenue model. That's why my course on how to create and monetize your own app is the best in class, because learning how to do software development, increasingly that'll be very unimportant. The revenue model is where the real bread and butter is. It's where the money is. And that's why I've been able to win. Gotta take a bath one day, so I think I need to buy a stopper unless this is a stopper. Oh, I'm smart. No, I'm really smart. This must be an expensive bathtub. It says baths of distinction. You ever heard of such a thing? Baths of distinction. That sure is the stopper right there. That's great. Okay, cool. I'll have to take me a bath. Settled. Bathe my black body. Yes, indeed. Anyways, the gentleman writes, if you're interested in bleeding edge of tech and AI. So with regards to the AI piece, in my personal opinion, I think that China is farther ahead than the American government lets on. But you're going to be blocked out of that market unless you're Chinese or fluent in Chinese, or you have an existing high growth company, which I was invited to China because I had a high growth company, and they're willing to invest in you and make sure that you're centered there, and they'll help a lot, but you already got to be on. China's not going to put you on, you got to be on. So I don't think that's going to be a great opportunity for you. Shout out to Trayvon, whom I had the pleasure of meeting recently. He writes, peace to the saints. How do I become better and make the most out of every opportunity without overthinking? It's funny you mentioned overthinking. I don't recommend thinking at all most of the time. And what I mean is this. We've mostly done enough thinking to last us a lifetime. It's really time for action. And I tell you what, if you were oriented only on action, no thinking, you might make some mistakes, but you'd overall win, because you need to not only strike while the iron is hot, as they say, you need to strike while the iron is hot, strike while the iron is cold, strike the iron vigorously and frequently until you can't anymore. We're in a world that doesn't prize doing it correctly. We prize doing it first, or doing it the most, which is to say marketing. We rarely are dealing in what is the best. Like Apple is not the best. They're not the most innovative, but they market really well and they know how to repackage really well. So you might consider learning from those that have been successful, for success leaves clues. So that's number one. Thinking is the occupation of those who are fearful. And so I encourage you to release your fear. And the more you think, the longer you take, the more daunting the task appears, because it is in our own brain, in our own mind, where we find defeat. And the seeds of our own defeat, we planted them. Shout out to Emmanuel writes, peace to the saints tuition. Appreciate you. Shout out to the real ones, came in via Venmo. Shout out to Mr. Carter writes, how long did you live in Puerto Rico? If you didn't have the government connect, would you still recommend living in San Juan, Dorado, or Condado? Condado is a great area, but no, I don't recommend it if you're not there for purposes of tax haven. I don't think they're really doing really well with pharmaceuticals anymore, and their infrastructure was never super impressive, whether you're talking about, capital or just intellectual capital. It's a great place for beautiful Puerto Rican women, great beaches, mofongo, and hurricanes that are deadly. I don't recommend it, no. Like visit maybe, but that's about it. Guys, I'm considering more as my business grows. What is dating like there for someone seeking multiple mains? Nah, bro. Latin America is not a win. Mexico has your best opportunity, but generally speaking, Latin American culture, it's not a W. Just like Black American culture, it's not a W, especially if you want multiple mains. You're gonna catch an L there, promise you that. Shout out to Nick, who sent in his money for the Big Game Conference. I'll see you there. May I also acknowledge via Super Chat. Shout out to Mark. He writes, peace and saints. Just wanted to say, keep doing. Okay, I read that one already. Splash writes, thank you for teaching the people, saint. Free game, pay attention. Yes, indeed, cost you nothing. You guys should at least click the link. I mean, the like button. And they say Jesus paid for it. It's free. It's free.